Okie dokie. Pig and a pokey. Got the Max today. Just got the Max. Sat on its pile of sand. Grit. Watched KSRC's video with one of these, and he's basically got a very similar setup. He's got a 6S VXL ESC, pretty much standard, I think. It's a bit like this, really, a few bits. I did realise I've got one pinion tooth up on the standard. The V2, the wide max, they put the long wheelbase one. They put a smaller pinion in from factory. I think maybe 2 teeth smaller than the V1. The V1 is the one that hadn't got the wide max as standard and was a shorter wheelbase. So this from factory has, I think it might be a 24, and I think I'm running 25. So I've just got a one tooth extra on the pinion. The reason for that was I was going to run it on the M2C. I don't know if you remember ages ago on another video, I did actually buy that M2C mount, the mega one, but it didn't fit stock gearing. So I thought, do you know what, I might just up the gearing a bit and make it fit, but really it's really meant, I think, for a different power system, not this kind of, although mine isn't stock, of course. It's got a 6S ESC, so it probably would be all right, to be fair. I could probably manage it. I think you needed to go up to, I think, a 26 for it to fit, which I just don't fancy, to be honest. And I've managed to sort the mount out on this by putting put it on aluminium basically. Basically, it's just the sort of the same layout as stock, the sort of stock mount design, but just made out of metal. And what I've also done is put a shroud on, a Dusty Motor shroud, because what I was finding was happening was that as I think the plastic chassis flexes, this grit was getting under the metal mount, and so when I took the mount off, I lost a pinion, and when I took the mount out, there was loads of grit under the mount, putting upwards pressure on the metal plate of the mount. It's hard to explain, but I think what's happening was grit's getting under, then as obviously the body flexes and twists, more grit's getting under, and then when the chassis unbends, kind of unflexes, obviously that grit could be sticking up, it could be doing anything, and it was kind of putting pressure on it. It was a bit weird, really, like unusual. And it's because the mount of the motor mount is almost like a plate that fastens down, so therefore stuff can get under it. Anyway, I filled that with some filler or mastic or whatever you want to call it, decorator's cork, because it's got like a hexagon chassis, like hexagons on the plastic for strength. So I filled under the mount with cork, so there was nowhere for the grit to sort of sit, or to make it harder for the grit to sit, I should say. And then put a shroud on to keep this crap out, and it's worked dead well. Not had any issues. So don't know why I'm telling you that. Basically, I don't think I need to put the M2C mount on. I think I've sussed it. Therefore, I don't need to increase the pinion size to make the M2C mount fit. I'm going to leave it as it is. So I'm one tooth up, but I'm happy with that. I've got the X-Max stock Servo, again, like Chaos has got in his. does a good job in this size truck. No drama at all. Possibly a bit slow in an X Max. I mean, it was all right. No real problems. It didn't break. Obviously, that's why it's in this. I just bought that upgraded one that I think now you get as standard in an Ultimate. I just bought that for the X Max. They make 3 for the X Max. You know, the stock one, the one up, and then the mega one. I think the mega one's the equivalent of like a Perfect Pass jobby. Except everyone will tell you it's not, everyone will tell you it's shit. But I think that's what it's supposed to be. I think it's Traxxas trying to get into that, you know, to stop you from having to buy a Perfect Pass mega one. They're kind of doing their own proprietary one. Traxxas toughened. I don't know what you'd call it. Higher spring rate. So it's got the green GT Max springs on the back, which are the heaviest ones that they make for these stock shocks that Traxxas make. And I put what was on the back on the front. So it's got rear springs stock on the front, and these extra hard ones that Traxxas make on the back. And the idea being to try and not stop it, but reduce some of the slap. I've also put a little bit stiffer shock oil in. So it's pretty constant, you know. There's not much bounciness, even with the harder springs, because the thicker shock oil reduces that rebound on the up. I think people are a little bit confused with how shocks work and springs and shock oil and stuff. It's quite a complex thing, isn't it? I think people think putting very heavy shock oil in will kind of reduce chassis slap and things like that, but really it's your springs that kind of do that job. The shock oil kind of affects the rebound almost, and kind of how quick it bounces back into shape. So this feels alright like this. It rips along. Yeah, so I watched Chaos and I thought, wow. It reminded me how good it was. So I thought, do you know what? I'll bring mine out. The one thing I did notice this morning is I don't think I could hear an ESC fan. So it's quite warm today. It's not really that warm, but you know, sunny. And I've just put a little leaf next to the fan on the ESC to see if it sucked the leaf down. That was a very technical way of checking, and it didn't. So I think I may have lost the fan on the ESC. Which would mean I'm going to overheat. Let's have a look. So I've got a red light there. I'll take my glasses off so I can see. I think that might be temperature. Yeah, and I can't hear a fan. Motor fan's on. It's the ESC one, and that's the problem with this shroud. I mean, it's brilliant for keeping the grit out, but it does obviously reduce airflow. Can't actually see what that red one's for. It does turn. Yeah, it is temp. Yeah, so I've lost my fan. That's annoying. Can't even see the wire for the fan. I thought the fan plugged into there. Can't even see it. Let's knock her off and put her back on again. Might have to run it with the shroud slightly open, trying a bit of air in. What I don't want to do is obviously cook my ESC. That would be silly. So I've just ordered a new rocket fan off AliExpress, but I was going to put that on the Traxxas Maxx ESC. But I might have to put it on this one when it arrives. Yeah, just building up a bit of heat under there. So yeah, basically, just runs really well, doesn't it? It's just a mega little 4S car and dead tough. Not brought the ramp. Again, I don't want to break anything if I can avoid it. Not that this breaks particularly, but just a nice little blast around, really. Take it a little bit easier just to give that ESC a fighting chance. But yeah, so it is a great 4S truck, this. Bit of work just to stop it eating pinions and spurs. Bit of work on the old suspension. If you are going to if you're not going to jump it, you don't have to do anything to it. Because what does it matter? You know, a bit of chassis slap done to it. It's got the big skid plates that are designed for that. But you know, that KCRC is going up. Well, I'm 6'3". It's got to be going 12, 15 foot up, I suppose, here, landing onto quite a hard surface. So you know, it is gonna. It's going to take a toll in it. So probably, you know, toughening up that suspension's not a bad idea, giving it a bit of a fighting chance. But for this sort of work, low level, like blasting over these bumps and jumps, mega. Probably wouldn't have to do anything. Ground bashing, as my old boyfriend Chris with a C would say. Now he's probably going to watch this video with a bit of interest. Ugh. And I'll say no more. Right. Yeah, it's overheating. Right, I'm going to call it a day because I don't want to lose my ESC. But yeah, this Dusty Motors, this has been brilliant. I mean, you've got to be a bit careful with where you're squirting your WD-40, because obviously it's only stuck on with adhesive around the edges. But as long as you don't cover it in WD-40 too often. The bits that have started to come away, I've just used super glue on, you know, like the super glue that you can use on plastic, and that's secured it back on. But it's under there the stones get, under this plate. Full of stones it was, like this stuff, this grit, full of that underneath. So when you try and tighten it down or, you know, mount it, you're pushing against this gravel. Quite strange. So the hexagon, as you can see, I filled that with cork underneath the mount, and this has really helped just to keep the grit out, basically. It really has helped. Doesn't help that much though when you have to unscrew it to let it vent. That's my X-Max Servo. Fitted this the other week, this metal top plate. Don't really know what that does. I know what it does. Obviously it adds rigidity to the, you know, I'm not a retard, I do understand what it does, but it's held in by screws into plastic. So as far as I can fathom, surely that is only as strong as those little plastic threads. So that can only really clamp down as hard as those threads will take. And because it doesn't flex, yes, I'm sure it does give a little bit of rigidity, but if there was anything major, any major flexing, surely the screws and the plastic threads they're screwed into would just give, and this would just strip. But anyway, it's blue and it looks all right, and I've fitted it. At the back end, I've got a GPM mount that I've secured with a slightly larger than standard titanium screw. You see I've got a few washers there with the thread lock on, so I've got like a bigger screw going in. I just find it a bit easier to use, and obviously those washers are spreading that load over a greater surface area of the mounting plate, and I find that works. And this metal seems to work quite well as well, rather than screwing it into, I forget what that is, plastic normally. 6S Dubry, Traxxas battery. It's been absolutely great, gets loads of runtime. Yeah, that is a Traxxas big 4S one. Red light's gone off, we've cooled down now, but I won't keep bashing it. I've got the GPM caps on the suspension, these ones, again, don't think they're necessary, but they look alright, don't they? Fitted the extended hubs, so I haven't got to use the plastic green caps, you know, those plastic things. I got this off Razor RC. So yeah, it just basically converts without having to do anything. Still run the same plastic drive shafts that have been dead good. Still run them, but it just means you can use 17mm. Do you know what I mean? Nuts. I've got the RPM rear skid. And yeah, and these, can you see the green? These are the stronger, heavier springs on the back. Oh, how exciting, how interesting was that? Like the stock wheels, like the stock tyres, no problems with those. People talk about using the back flips, and I have used the back flips, but I'll be honest, I think it drives better on these little Dubries. Just nimble, just gets around, you know what I mean? Everything's about where you run it, isn't it? And everyone's opinions are all really kind of meaningless, because of course it's just based on, not meaningless, but kind of based on where they drive, isn't it? And based on where they run, and based on what size batteries they use, and what the weight of their truck is, and so many variables. At least with cars, as in cars on a road, we all drive them on a road, so we all drive them with the same fuel on the same surface. So, you know, comparisons with motor cars I totally get, because, you know, it's a level playing field to a degree, and you can compare car to car. Remote control cars, you know, it's just a fucking world of difference everywhere, innit? Heavier batteries, lighter batteries, different power, different terrain, different surfaces, people driving boom 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 all the time, people driving steady. One person's opinion is really well, it's relevant to them, isn't it? Possibly not really that relevant to everyone else. People say that their car's never broken ever, it's the best car in the world, it's, you know, unbreakable. It's, well, yeah, come and jump it here onto this hard tarmac off a big ramp, you know, things will break. It's just everyone's different, aren't they, in what they do. Therefore their opinions are almost They're not meaningless, are they? I don't want to sound like I'm saying everyone's opinions are meaningless. They're not, but you know what I mean. Almost forgot my hat, look. Jesus. Can't lose my hat. Extra big hat. Oversized caps. It's because my head's so big. Got the Crocs on. That everyone hates. Legs are out. Sunny day, innit? Just saw a horse. There, look. I don't know if you can still see it, but there is a horse down there. And someone with a dog, I think, walking past it. So yeah, wildlife is a go-go. Right. Well, that was pretty. Whoop. That was a bit bad, wasn't it? Really, bit of a bad one. Sorry about that. Still, nice day. Little run out. Got some fresh air and all that. Just gonna creep it back to the car. See if I've got any fans at home. I don't think I have. Pretty sure I haven't, in fact. I try to do my repairs, you know, as they happen, otherwise I forget. Kind of forget what's gone wrong. So I'll get home now and try and order what I can and sort of repair what I can whilst it's fresh in my head. Otherwise I'll stick it in the garage, and then like in 2 weeks time I'll come to drive it again and I'll have completely forgotten what's gone wrong, and come here and a wheel will fall off or something ridiculous, and it's because of that. So yeah, get home, assess what I've got to buy, order it, and then if I can't do it there and then my body's knackered, I need a new body really, but yeah. Anyway, waffling on now, filling, aren't I? I think that's what they say, filling the video. So take it easy. I go on holiday for about 3 weeks coming up, so probably won't do anything. I'm going to Disney World, so that'll be good, won't it? Going to America somewhere, don't even know where it is, somewhere hot. Going there, Universal Studios and all that. So yeah, if you see a fat bloke in horrible Crocs, that might be me. I mean, that doesn't narrow it down much, does it? But if he talks like me, he's fat, he's got glasses on, and he's got them on his feet, give him a shout, or just throw a burger at him. Either way, take it easy. Speak soon. Ta-da. Try and turn this off.